In this video we will discuss one of the most difficult challenges faced by independent India, and that is poverty, and also its causes and measures taken by government. Poor people could be landless laborers in villages or people living in overcrowded jhuggies in cities. They could be daily wage workers at construction sites or children working in dhabas. Poverty means hunger, lack of shelter and lack of clean water and sanitation facilities. It also means lack of a regular job at a minimum decent level. Mahatma Gandhi always insisted that India would be truly independent only when the poorest of its people become free of human suffering. Poverty is measured through several indicators like the levels of income, illiteracy level, lack of general resistance due to malnutrition, lack of access to health care, lack of job opportunities, lack of access to safe drinking water, sanitation, etc. Analysis of poverty is also done on the basis of social exclusion. Let's see how. Poor people have to live only in a poor surrounding with other poor people. They are excluded from enjoying social equality that better off people enjoy in better surroundings. Since they don't have opportunities to lift themselves up, and hence social exclusion is both a cause as well as a consequence of poverty. A typical example of social exclusion is the working of the caste system in India, in which people belonging to certain castes are discriminated in our society. Okay, let's now understand the concept of poverty line. A person is considered poor if his or her income or consumption level falls below a given minimum level necessary to fulfill the basic needs. To determine poverty line, each country uses an imaginary line that is decided on the basis of its existing level of development and its accepted minimum social norms. While determining the poverty line in India, a minimum level of food requirement, clothing, footwear, fuel and light, educational and medical requirement, etc. are determined. The present formula for food requirement while estimating the poverty line is based on the desired amount of calorie requirement. The calorie needs vary depending on age, sex and the type of work that a person does. The accepted average calorie requirement in India is 2,400 calories per person per day in rural areas and 2,100 calories per person per day in urban areas. Why? Because people living in rural areas engage themselves in more physical work, and hence calorie requirements in rural areas are considered to be higher than in urban areas. The current poverty line is approx 1,059 Indian rupees per month in rural areas and 1,286 Indian rupees per month in urban areas. Despite less calorie requirement, the higher amount for urban areas has been fixed because of high prices of many essential products in urban centers. So in this way, a family of 5 members living in rural areas and earning less than about 5,295 rupees per month will be below the poverty line. A similar family in the urban areas would need a minimum of 6,430 rupees per month to meet their basic requirements. Now let's see which are the vulnerable groups. Social groups, which are most vulnerable to poverty, are scheduled caste and scheduled tribe households. Similarly, among the economic groups, the most vulnerable groups are the rural agricultural labor households and the urban casual labor households. According to 2011-12 census in India, 43 out of 100 people belonging to scheduled tribes are not able to meet their basic needs. Similarly, 34% of casual workers in urban areas are below poverty line. About 34% of casual labor farm in rural areas and 29% of scheduled castes are also poor, and the average for people below poverty line for all groups in India is 22%. Now let's see the interstate disparities of poverty in India. So the proportion of poor people is not the same in every state. According to 2011-12 census, Bihar and Odisha are the 2 poorest states with poverty ratios of 33.7 and 32.6% respectively. Along with rural poverty, urban poverty is also high in Odisha, Madhya Pradesh, Bihar, and Uttar Pradesh. In comparison, There has been a significant decline in poverty in Kerala, Maharashtra, Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, Gujarat, and West Bengal. States like Punjab and Haryana have traditionally succeeded in reducing poverty with the help of high agricultural growth rates. Kerala has focused more on human resource development. In West Bengal, land reform measures have helped in reducing poverty. In Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu, public distribution of food grains could have been responsible for the improvement. Okay, let's now try to understand the causes of poverty. One reason is the low level of economic development under the British colonial administration. The policies of the colonial government ruined traditional handicrafts and development of industries like textiles. This resulted in less job opportunities and low growth rate of incomes, and this accompanied by a high growth rate of population perpetuated the poverty cycle. With the spread of irrigation and the Green Revolution, many job opportunities were created in the agriculture sector, but it was limited to some parts of India. The public and private sector industries did provide some jobs, but these were not enough to absorb all the job seekers. So, many people started working as rickshaw pullers, vendors, construction workers, domestic servants, etc. With irregular small incomes, these people could not afford expensive housing, so they started living in slums on the outskirts of the cities, and the problems of poverty, largely a rural phenomenon, also became the feature of the urban sector. Another reason of poverty is the unequal distribution of land and other resources. Major policy initiatives like land reforms, which aimed at redistribution of assets in rural areas, have not been implemented properly. Many other socio-cultural and economic factors also are responsible for poverty. For example, to fulfill social obligations and observe religious ceremonies, people in India, including the very poor, spend a lot of money. Small farmers need money to buy agricultural inputs like seeds, fertilizer, pesticides, etc. Since poor people hardly have any savings, they borrow. Unable to repay because of poverty, they become victims of indebtedness. So the high level of indebtedness is both the cause and effect of poverty. So what are the anti-poverty measures taken in India? Strong Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act 2005 aims to provide 100 days of wage employment to every household to ensure livelihood security in rural areas. It also aimed at sustainable development to address the cause of drought, deforestation and soil erosion. Prime Minister Rozgar Yojana (PMRY) is another scheme which was started in 1993. The aim of the program is to create self-employment opportunities for educated unemployed youth in rural areas and small towns. They are helped in setting up small business and industries. Swarna Jayanti Grand Swarozgar Yojana (SGSY) was launched in 1999. The program aimed at bringing the assisted poor families above the poverty line by organizing them into self-help groups through a mix of bank credit and government subsidy. Another important scheme is Antyodaya Anna Yojana (AAY), in which highly subsidized food provided to millions of the poorest families. But do they have education, or shelter, or healthcare, or job security, or self-confidence? Are they free from caste and gender discrimination? Ponder upon it.